Hi, I'm Keira. I'm really excited to get started.
Hi, Keira. I'm excited to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Can you tell me a little bit about you?
I live with my sister and my dog Rico Suave and my two parents. What about you?
I grew up in Chicago. I currently have an elementary school kid graduating, so a really different generation. I arrived to the United States when I was 10 years old. I am one of 13 kids. I moved to Los Angeles to finish UCLA. I am a mom of two boys.
Tell me about some Jewish traditions that you have in your life.
We have a few, and I think I've sort of mixed them in with my Latino stuff, but I think my favorite is Shabbat dinner. I think for me, at some point I'm running my business, I'm running a nonprofit, and Friday for me is that time to sit back and reconnect and talk about what went well, what didn't, over a meal. I think that's huge. That's been part of the way we function, and even before we had kids. And over the time, we've started inviting friends over with their kids or their grandparents. And so we built this tradition that every Friday, no matter what is going on, even if I'm traveling, we'll sit and say, we're gonna have Shabbat dinner. How about you? What's your favorite one?
Well, on that we can agree. Mine is also definitely Shabbat dinner. My family's been really busy a lot, and both my parents have a lot of working commitments. So Friday is the one time that we don't have extracurriculars. We end work early, and we can all just sit down and be together. And since COVID started, it's been harder to see my grandparents a lot. So once we're kind of getting back into normal, they have started joining us for Shabbat dinners.
Do you identify as a woman of color?
Yes.
Okay. And then have you ever felt othered within Judaism, within?
All the time. It's really all the time. I love Isaiah, but it's hard to be the only person of color in classrooms sometimes. And being a Jew of color is different than being a Jew, which comes with its own, struggles, difficulties. There's anti-Semitism, but now I face anti-Semitism and racism, and it's a lot. I'm really proud of who I am. I'm not going to take it back. I'm proud I'm a woman of color because it has given me so much strength to do things that I never thought I would do. But yeah, it's always in the back of my head, if you know what I'm saying. But I don't know if you ever felt that.
Yes, for sure. But I think first I want to honor that space. Yes, it is difficult and it is challenging, but it's going to truly make you stronger. I'll tell you this story. I'm in San Francisco, and I won't mention her name, but she sees me across the platform in San Francisco. She's like, hey, you. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Aren't you at Temple Isaiah? And I was like, yeah. She's like, my kids go there too. What are you in San Francisco for? So she ended up truly walking me around the Moscone Center. And it was because she was part of this community. She recognized me. And there was something about being part of Isaiah that she knew that, okay, we're together. You do feel different. And that's okay, because you are different. But I think that the temple is stronger when it has folks that look like you and I as part of it.
So I'm thinking that you were paired with me because you probably have a passion for social activism. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I would say that social justice is in my blood. I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in a Black community and Black culture. I grew up in public housing, and I was probably 13 when we wanted to move out of public housing. And so we couldn't find a place to move out of. And what we didn't know was happening was that we were being redlined. There were systems in place to make sure that we did not move out. And so at the time we were undocumented, but my parents sort of looked at it as this is just the way it is. And for me, it wasn't the way it should be, even if it is. we were in social justice and didn't know it. My mom would attend city council meetings and would bring us all along. We're like, oh, it's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. What are we doing here? She knew that these folks were making policies that would affect us. And so I would sit there and translate for her as much as we could, because I didn't have the technical language. But truly I've always been into social justice. I just didn't know it. It's a way of life. Yeah. And honestly, I think that's also part of Jewish culture, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We don't know we're in social justice, but we are. So, yeah. How about you?
I've spent a lot of time with Isaiah looking at Isaiah Temple Youth. I'm Social Action Vice President. This is my second year. I'm with another kid. Thank you. Okay, well, tell me about it. What do you do for the Women's March?
So for Women's March Foundation, which I haphazardly co-founded, we organized the largest protest in the United States, and truly the largest one was here in Los Angeles. What most people don't know was that the first folks to sign up, oh, this chokes me, were Isaiah members. And so truly the Isaiah community were the first ones to say, how can we help? What do you need? And at the time, I did not know what I needed. And I took it on because after the election, I knew that we had an issue in society, that we were okay with immigrants being denigrated. We were okay with folks talking about women as if we were just body parts. And I wasn't okay with it. I didn't know where it was going to go. I was going to march, and then I was going to go back to my business of event production. But I couldn't. There was just so much more to do. Social justice, you find a project and you're like, there's more to do. There's always more to do, because we are called upon to do the right thing. Yeah. And so I'm still with Women's March Foundation. We've grown it. We have over 1 million members. And when I say members, they donate $5, they donate $10. They're truly engaged in making sure that the future is equal for everybody. So I'm like ecstatic about that.
Future's pink. I wanted to ask you, sometimes when I think about things that are important to me, I really visualize a lot, but don't actually do anything to get started, and I get really overwhelmed. So I was wondering if you had any advice or anything about that.
I think organizing can seem overwhelming, but I think it's doing something every day. I didn't start organizing to think that I was going to change the world. I think for me, it was really about community and focusing. There are so many issues at hand, and it can seem overwhelming. Do I have the money? Do I have the time? Do I have the network to do this? Am I working with the right organization? It can seem overwhelming, but truly, truly, if you look around you, there's plenty of folks already doing some of the work that would love a volunteer to say, I have an hour a week. If you think about it, what's that one cause that you think about and you want to do something about, or maybe already be doing something?
I'm really working towards creating more religious and cultural awareness and education so we can limit things like Islamophobia and anti-Semitism and xenophobia and things that are really hateful and harmful just because there's a lack of knowledge. I created a club called Ready Culture, and Ready stands for Rosh Hashanah, Eid, Diwali, and Yom Kippur, which are 4 holidays that my club is advocating to be included in our calendar at our school district. And it's really growing. We started in March, and we have 50 followers on Instagram right now from our school, and we are growing a lot.
That's huge, 50 followers. I think I had 3 when I first started.